How's it going, everybody? So we have a fun review today as we're talking Pixar's Elio. Now that we are about midway through the 2020s at this point, you know, Pixar has not had the greatest run in recent years. A lot of ups and downs. There's certainly been some pretty good films along the way, but there's been some movies that have not been received well critically, audience-wise, and that's besides the fact that in recent years, Disney has not done a great job promoting Pixar projects. I mean, Elio is also a prime example of not the greatest marketing. When a space fanatic named Elio finds himself beamed up by alien life forms mistaken as the leader of Earth, he finds himself on a cosmic misadventure where he must form new bonds with alien life forms, navigate a crisis of intergalactic proportions, and somehow discover who he truly is meant to be. Unlike a lot of Pixar movies, I actually went into this one a little bit more cautious than usual. I think large part of that is due to the fact that the little marketing that I did see for Elio didn't exactly sell me a lot on the premise, or at the very minimum do a good enough job to hook me on it. But I must admit, if given the chance, if you do go see Elio in theaters, I think you will be impressed with what Elio delivers. Personally, I always am kind of a sucker for the fish out of water buddy comedies, and that is an aspect that I feel like Elio excels at along this adventure. The balancing act of serious subject matter and humor is done surprisingly well. I laughed way harder than I expected to between all the different hijinks that Glorden and Elio get up to. The intent is clear. All of the wonder of the story is meant to be viewed through more of a childlike lens, even down to the main conflicts that arise within the story. Even if they're kind of a little bit more mature than you would expect from a kid's movie, I wouldn't say it's as heavy-handed with its mature themes like a Soul or maybe even Turning Red in a sense. Now, personal preferences definitely will vary as far as the art style that Pixar uses for Elio. In recent years, we've seen Pixar experiment a little bit more as far as their different visuals. Personally, I think they work pretty solid for Elio, especially when we're leaning into the fun sci-fi aesthetic, like when we're exploring the Communiverse, since it's very vibrant and colorful. It goes hand in hand well with the world building at play and all the different cool alien designs that we see. And it wouldn't be a Pixar movie if there wasn't certain things in this movie that try to pull on your heartstrings. In that usual Pixar fashion, amongst all of the fun to be had across the big space adventure, some of the themes that Elio chooses to explore are somewhat heavy and emotional. At the core of it all, Elio's a sweet boy who's the kind of character many can find relatability in, largely due to the fact that he is someone that's experiencing a lot of loneliness. While it is told through the perspective of a child, it's done in such a heartfelt way how desperately he wants to try and find a connection and a purpose, even if it's something completely on the opposite side of the universe. Besides the fact that he's connecting with all these different aliens, it's one of those types of Pixar messages that gets you no matter if you're a kid or an adult. And those are the type of feelings that makes Pixar movies special in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, Elio is the true star of the show, and he's fun in his own right. But this alien he befriends along the way, Glorden, I thought he was awesome. He's one of those quintessential Pixar side characters that completely steal the show by being completely hilarious and relatable. There's so many different moments throughout this movie where I was dying laughing at something involving Glorden. Given how great of an experience I had watching Elio, it does make me disheartened that Disney just does not seem to care that much about promoting Elio. Not only has the marketing not been great for the film, but they did a lot of reworking behind the scenes. Like, for example, Zoe Saldana came in for America Ferrera, switching things around so now it's Elio's aunt and not his mother. Which, to be honest, while I overall had fun with the story, you definitely can tell due to the sheer amount of ideas thrown around in the middle of the movie, they did a lot of reworking to make this plot work. And the budget for the movie is pretty darn high, coming in roughly around $300 million. Just based on box office alone, it's obvious why Disney wants to focus more on established IPs, going for sequels, remakes, because those are the movies that people go out and see. Of course, there are exceptions, like the live-action remake of Snow White being a huge bomb, but then you have stuff like the Lilo and Stitch live-action remake grossing over $850 million at the box office. In the case of Pixar, Inside Out 2 came out last year and made over $1.5 billion, so I still think we're seeing the ramifications of Disney releasing multiple Pixar movies on Disney+, so most audiences are not that keen on going to support the original movies in theaters, at least. That seems to be the major struggle and the disconnect where they'll definitely go see a sequel or a remake. Otherwise, they know that they can just wait a couple months and then the original film will be on Disney Plus or VOD and they don't have to go to the theater at all. So I really hope there are people that go out there and support Elio in theaters and see an original Pixar film. I mean, I'm sure it's probably going to still underperform just based on that budget alone, but it would be cool if this ended up being a long-term success and had a solid box office run much like Elemental did a couple years ago. All around, I genuinely was surprised how charming Elio is as a film. It reminded me of the type of stories that made me enjoy Pixar growing up, delivering an adventure that's fun, filled with whimsical moments, and heartfelt emotion and themes packed into Elio's journey. When you get a chance to check out Elio in theaters, make sure you share your thoughts down below. What'd you think of the film? Did you like the film? Did you not like the film? Thank you guys. As always, check out videos. I always do appreciate it. Make sure to like on the video and also subscribe to the channel. Also update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Till next time, I'll see you guys later.